Yo, what's up, man? I hope you all are doing really good. This is gonna be a video about my new CurseBot, which is made on the disciple of Varashta. And yo, I'm actually pretty happy with this one. This is fucking crazy. It's a little bit more tanky, I feel like, than the Chronomancer, but it does have a little bit less team utility, you could say. We don't get the freeze time and stuff like that, which is kind of nice, but if you can live without that, this is actually a really, 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 really good situation for this build, honestly, to be fair. So without further ado, let's roll the footage, please. Alright, so here we are with the new sword ascendancy, which is my new CurseBot, and I really love this thing. It's turned out way better than what I had envisioned to begin with. I thought it would be good. I wasn't actually expecting it to be quite as good as it is, but having geared it out and stuff, and this is basically roughly 3 divines of gear, maybe a little bit more, I guess, because some items could have gone up in prices and whatnot. But yeah, honestly, I'm really happy with where it's at now. So first and foremost, let's just check out some gear. We're using a scepter here with discipline because we just want to kind of gain as much energy shield as we can, right? And do mind that I only have 3 spirit left, so 170 spirit on your scepter is basically minimum you'll have to have in order for the to work out this setup that I'm currently using, right? So I don't have any spirit um, on my amulet, and I do not have spirit on my chest piece either. So basically, that's why I have to have a decent scepter with like a decent amount of spirit in order for this to function together. And then of course we have a sigil of power on the second hand here. Nothing crazy about that, honestly. It's just essence mod, right? Like this +5 all skill for the since that works with the sigil of power. And yeah, that's pretty much what I want to say about that. But I try to gain as many of these tags that is good for people in your presence, right? Even though my presence is very small, it's still nice because then whenever people do walk into the presence, they just get a nice boost to their attacks, and that works out really, really well when you're playing in a group. Then you want to max out your energy shield on your helmet as much as possible, right? Like you just want to have. Can you get 500 energy shield on your helmet? You go for 500 energy shield for sure. Same goes for the focus here, and this is a lot less good gear in comparison to my Chronomancer in standard. This gear is way less good than what that is, but it just due to some of the things in the ascendancy, it performs better almost. Again, we just want to get as much resistance and XP, ES as we can off of our boots. These, as you can see, this is really low end gear, most of it. Obviously, we have to use double door rays to apply extra curses. I went with this armor, but I really, really want to get one that has the faster start of energy shield and blizzard instead of mana regen. I don't really need mana regen that crazy. I am gonna need some mana regen, but it doesn't have to be insane. We still need our darkness enthroned with the glove tag, so we can put this curse magnitude in there. So that is probably gonna be my next upgrade, I guess. I think that will be my next upgrade, to be fair. Again, want to get some. You don't want to get the added damages on here, the flat damages. That is absolutely terrible. The leech is terrible. We just want to get resistances and min-max as much ES as we can. Have 2 sockets or 3 preferably, and then add the curse magnitude idols in there. They're called now, I believe. Yeah, +3 skill would be lovely on the amulet. It's not necessary, to be fair. It would be nice. Same goes for the focus. +2 instead of the intelligence here would have been very, very nice. But I'm settling right now because I I didn't want to spend a whole lot of currency on the build because I wasn't actually fully sure if I was going to play with the team or not. And since that kind of fell through, I stopped kind of investing into it, right? Like I just don't want to waste the currency on it anymore. Now for the skills. So this top one is basically from our ascendancy. I'm playing around with this one. This one probably will get changed. I don't think this is worth it, to be fair. Is there times where it comes kind of in handy? Sure. There are a couple of times where having the recharge be immediately is kind of nice. But we also have conveylance, which kind of does the exact same thing, right? So I don't really know, man. I don't feel like these are so necessary. I kind of like there's another one here, right? So this one, which increases the radius of the timeless jewels that aren't unique. So technically, right, if the radius is big enough, I think like taking, for instance, and putting it in here or putting it in here could be worth it. And then for extra curse magnitude, if you can find one that has that. But it's kind of like up in the air if it's really worth it or not. It's not a bad setup, honestly. It's kind of nice, but it's just not as great as I thought it would be. Of course, we have Sigil of Power. On our second hand, we have our Conveylance. We have Orb of Storms to apply some exposure, but honestly, it's mostly just because at times you'll be playing with, like, let's say you play with a guy who's playing the Twister build, for instance. Then having this it affects his twisters and they become electrified. So there's multiple reasons for having the Orb of Storms. I used to use Frostbomb, but I've swapped to Orb of Storms because I feel like it's better in the end. And it's also just basically so we can swap from holding our staff. When we put down our Sigil of Power, we can just instant swap without having to press the weapon swap ourselves, right? We can just automate that. So that's why I feel like it works really, really well. Obviously, we're going to use Blasphemy since we're CurseBot. And again here, we're just going to add Temporal Change is like a must, I feel like. And then basically, I have Enfeeble in here as well, which I kind of feel like is also somewhat of a must. And then I can swap between Despair, Elemental Weakness, and Vulnerability. As I feel like what is most useful for the party, I can just instantly swap out like LE weakness if nobody is doing elemental damage or somebody is already running it, for instance, which you see a lot with Despair. Like all the Chaos Bells are pretty much all running Despair themselves, and a lot of them are doing it on Blasphemy as well. So there's no point for me to be running it if there's somebody else in the group already having or utilizing it. So I'll just swap that out for Vulnerability, for instance, which in the end works out really, really well. I absolutely love the setup. And we have Overwhelming Presence. This is just going to help lower the enemy's elemental ailment threshold and their stun threshold and stuff like that. So that is just an overall really, really nice utility skill there. If I should probably go over a couple of the supports here. So for the Navarra as well, we're using Magnified Effect, Bidding 3, Prolonged Duration, Cold Mastery, and Rapid Casting. For Sigil of Power, we're using Magnified Area. We're using Prolonged Duration. We're using Efficiency and Rapid Casting. Conveylance, we're using Cooldown Recovery. We're using Second Wind, so we can use it twice, right? And we're using Prolonged Duration, so it basically stays active for a little bit longer. Again, Orb of Storms, Magnified Area. We're going to use Living Lightning and Lightning Exposure and Potent Exposure. And Blasphemy was the curses. Obviously, we're going to use Magnified Area just to have a little bit bigger area of the curse reaches. But as you'll see in the gameplay, I just run into the middle of a pile of enemies and I can just stand there. And they are so, like, the amount they get slowed down from the temp change and stuff like that is so high that I rarely, like, get in trouble. There'll be every now and then an enemy that has, like, a little bit of a harder hitting situation. Or, like, I was doing Arbiter the other day. There was a guy who really needed help doing Arbiter, so I jumped in there. And helped him out with that. And although it took a couple of tries, because the corridor attack that he does, where you have to like basically move between the corridors, if you're like too far away from each other, it can like put the corridor in like a place that's too far for you to reach. And we were running into that issue a couple of times. So you get one shot by that. There's no real like way around that, right? Like, so that's just, if it's a one shot ability, you probably will die to it. Besides that, dying on this character is nearly fucking impossible, to be fair. Alright, let's go over the tree real quick. So we are utilizing 2 weapon sets here. So we have our Sigil of Power on weapon set 2, and then our main hand is going to be weapon set 1, which is where our like curses are and stuff like that. And as you'll see here, what we're doing is we're just utilizing the fact that we can have 2 weapon sets, and then we can boost our Sigil of Power's size and how long it stays out. So our weapon set 2 is going to have a ton of like increased area of effect, which is all the notes you're seeing right here, here, and then of course some more skill duration, so it stays out for longer. And then we're just adding all of our curse magnitudes to weapon set 1, so all of these notes right here, they all go weapon set 1. And obviously we're gonna go through here. You could take the maximum energy shield if you want to. I go for the faster restart of energy shield recharge because I like that a lot more. And then we're just gonna go up through here, grab some more energy shield, faster recharge start, more energy shield over here. We are gonna want to grab this note. I think that'll be the next level I get. We'll grab this note right here, and then for the remainder of the notes that we want to grab, we're just gonna grab all the energy shield notes left basically. There's a couple up here, there's one here, we do have the 2 down here we can grab as well. And that's pretty much going to be it. I think maybe for the very last 3 points, I might use them on the area of effect down here, which feels kind of free since it's so close, and we're going to get a little bit more aura magnitude that way as well. Besides that, again, we're just grabbing some ES. This is ES armor, and then it has a little bit of movement speed that helps out a lot. We have to grab our 4 spirit right here because we're running low on spirit with the current scepter. More energy shield right here, more energy shield from the focus. Obviously we're gonna have to take this one for an additional curse. We're gonna wanna anoint the lingering whisper onto our amulet. I haven't done that yet myself, but you definitely do want to do that. Then we're gonna split some damages. Well, we are grabbing the faster start up here as well. But then we're gonna start splitting out some damages, so we get some damage from mana before life, and we're grabbing these 3 notes right here for that, and we're grabbing these over here for that same reason. Just to kind of like note one thing here, we are getting armor from our energy shield, so the higher we can raise the energy shield, the more armor we'll get, or the physical damage reduction from armor we'll get, right? So that basically it helps out a lot. Like this makes the build way more tanky. And obviously this one is like the /1 node here, because that's gonna cut down our delay by 1 second. So no matter what let's say if I unspec this, it'll be 2.0 or 0.05. Sorry. So that's just cutting off a second right there, and it's gonna help out a lot. It's gonna help out a lot, especially if you can get the faster start onto your shield and onto your armor as an implicit. Oh my god, it's gonna be really insane how fast it'll be able to regen the energy shield, and how fast it'll start regenning the energy shield. It's just gonna be absolutely stupidly fast. Currently I have this one anointed. It's obviously absolute trash, but it was cheap, and for that reason, it's basically what I started out with, right? But as I said, this is by far the best anoint, in my opinion. You definitely want to go for that. Yeah, then we're grabbing the first two ascends. We're grabbing these nodes right here, and then the third one we're gonna grab the 100% elemental damage taken from Mana Before Life, and then last we're gonna grab these two. But you can grab this one as well if you rather want to go for a timeless duel, and then you could add it up here, for instance. You could maybe grab some of these nodes if it were, like, let's say you can find one that has curse magnitude and energy shield on it or something like that. You could grab some more nodes up in this area right here, depending on which size it actually is. I haven't seen it in effect yet, so I don't know how big the circle gets. But if it gets big enough to where it actually comes down here, which would be insane, but if it gets that big, then GG, I would say. Like, that is a really, really decent way to go about it too. You could also add one over here. There's no, as I said, no real telling how far that circle is going to reach. But if it reaches far enough, this might actually go all the way out here, so we can get the benefits from these nodes we have here. And if that's the case, then that might be a really, really good choice. Alright, so we also have some jewels here. Currently I'm going for the maximum energy shield and curse magnitude. That's what I have on all my jewels currently, as you can see right here. First and foremost, I'm obviously going for the 4% on our curse magnitude, because that is just number one, right? And then whatever else I could find with energy shield on, I was happy with. There is a world where you go for, you get a curse magnitude magic jewel, which it can have a suffix as well. It doesn't really need a suffix, but you can have a suffix. That would obviously be better. And then you corrupt them until you hit the extra mod, and that becomes energy shield or curse area of effect. Either or would probably be really, really good. One would be for tank, one would be for wider reach of your curses. And then you go adorned, right? Like, that is like probably the number one way to go here. I personally just went for some curse magnitude and some energy shield for now, since this is a low budget build at the moment. But the like ultra high end version of the build, you would probably go adorned instead. And then we get this one afterwards, which is the, like, 60% of your current energy shield is added to your armor for determining your physical damage reduction, which then, when you then have the last, like, the elemental goes to mana, you have all these mana nodes here that takes damage and puts it on the mana, and then on top of that we have extra armor, so we get some more reduction if we get hit with physical as well. As you can see, we have, it literally says we have 64% armor, even though, like, 64% reduction, but that's only when it has to calculate it, right? Like, normally it's 11, but it's 64 with that node, so that's a lot, honestly. That just makes the build feel really, really tanky. And although we caught a bit of a nerf to the curses in general this league, they did lower the area of effect on curses. So I can show it off real quick here. So if we head down here, we can, like, go to find some enemies real quick, and then we can kind of see how far away we have to be in order for the curses to actually activate on them. So right there, right? Boom. That's the area right here. Now beforehand, I'm not gonna lie, beforehand the area was boom there. So it was like, as you can see, we caught a little bit of a nerf on that. You can, as I said, you can make that area bigger if you want to, through the jewels. There is another way to do it. You can go the adorned way and just have, if you feel like you're getting enough energy shield from your gear and from your tree, and you don't necessarily need it on the jewels anymore, then what I would do is I would swap to Curse Magnitude and Curse Area of Effect blue jewels, then corrupt them. If you're lucky, you get the extra energy shield, and if not, then it's fine. As long as it's a blue jewel and then you have adorned, you add those in here with adorned, and then your area of effect will be a lot better. And also your curses will be a lot more effective, right? But it'll take the adorned to do that, and having like a decent amount of good blue jewels, which is not an easy task to get a hold of. So that's why I haven't like included it right here. But I will say that if you can get that, that is number one in my opinion. That would absolutely, obviously I'm gonna include that in the MaxRoll guide. So for you guys who will like to go over there and like look at what the perfect gear would look like and know what to strive for, I have made everything ready, so it's all up on there. Now there is a world where I unspec this and then we grab this one instead, as I said, depending on if it's worth it for the jewel, how big the area gets. If it, like, let's say it reaches all the way up here, so I could get extra curse magnitude for all these points, right? Or if I put it in here and it reaches all the way over here, I don't think it will. I don't maybe it will. I don't think it will. Like if it's a large radius, that's already like roughly out here somewhere. I don't know if that will actually make it all the way here. If it does, if it like makes it a massive fucking ring here that you can utilize all these points you have here, and you can get extra curse magnitude from them, I would actually consider doing that over the adorned, to be fair. And that's about it, man. I would say like this comes online on your second ascendancy around level 80, but third it's like third ascendancy and like level 90, and then you're really rolling. I feel like that's when you have everything you would want and everything you would need. Alright, so I'll leave you guys with that, and then I'll leave some gameplay at the end here so you guys can see what it looks like when you're playing the build, and how tanky it actually is. So if you like it, like, comment, subscribe, all the good jazz. I'll include the MaxRoll guide in the description. It's not fully done yet, so it's still a work in progress, but it'll be included. And yeah, I hope you all have a good day, good evening, whatever it might be for you, and I'll catch you all in the next one. This is so much better than I had expected, honestly. Holy shit. Just, if, like, I don't even have the hands on the keyboard of my mouse right now. I'm just sitting, like, with my hands folded. It's literally, that's how tanky the build is. I don't feel like I'm in danger, really, right? Like there'll be certain enemies, especially certain abyss monsters, they'll provide some danger, right? But god damn, this is I've actually you know, made a banger. I don't know. I think I'm pretty happy with where it's at now. Especially when we think about how much less geared I am compared to on the Chronomancer. And yet this feels even stronger. Right? Like it just feels really, really strong. And this is without a rarity bot, by the way, just in case anybody was wondering. It's just the mitigation, splitting the damages between the ES and the mana, and then having a decent amount of mana regen, and having absolutely GG ES regen right now is, I'm really feeling the difference, because it just recharges instantly. Like, it's 1 second delay, which is, it feels like it's that feels really good, actually. Like 1 second feels right. Like, that is just, you see what I mean? Even when we do take damage, we have our convalence to just instantly, like, counter it, right? And it's just, it works incredibly well. Holy shit.